wonderful universe. It's Jennifer here at Eureka Astrology and Healing, and today we're going to be talking about the Scorpio full moon total lunar eclipse. This is dynamic and there's a lot to talk about, so I'm going to try to break it down in different pieces and hope that you find something that supports you through this very energetic and cathartic moon. The full moon is going to be on May 15th. It's going to be a Sunday, and it's going to be at 11:14 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you are in a different location, it could be on the 16th in the morning or earlier in the evening. So just take note of that if you are going to be doing any energetic work around that time, if you want to get exact with that. Well, with that, let's think about this. Themes, keywords: transformative, transmutate, and culminate. Also cathartic. I really do feel like this is a time to let things go. It's a full moon, and so full moons is something that was a culmination, right? A total of all the things. The moon is got full of energy and Scorpio energy, but Scorpio is cathartic, wanting to let things go as well. And so when we add a total lunar eclipse, this adds a totally new element into the idea of the full moon. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, I want to talk about the energy shifts before we talk about the actual full moon aspects and some of the energies and themes, because I think they play into it. Because, I did the video on the solar eclipse on April 30th in Taurus, right? So we're going between Taurus and Scorpio, and it's going to be like that for at least another year. When we have eclipses, this is the axis. And so you have to think about the themes of this axis. Taurus, material, right? Value, worth, the earth, and then Scorpio, how you join with people and create something more with what you have and another has, letting go, death, transformation. And so with the new moon, it was in Taurus, and now we're going into the Scorpio energy. And so when we had the new moon eclipse, everything was going direct. Well, things are going to be shifting. And also there's a lot of things in Pisces at that time. Things are also shifting between here and there as well. So the first thing I want to talk about is that Venus shifts into Aries on May 2nd, which is actually today. So Venus, really loves being in Pisces and feels good and is floating and having a good time and is just in love with love and the universe. Going into Aries, I don't want to say it loves a battle, but it loves to move forward. It's time. It's like, nope. No more of that. And it loves to get what it needs and it wants, right? And itself, right? It's about itself, because I want to get through this world. I need to have these things. So it went from the universe to the self, right? To the very little seedling that's going, I need water. I need food, right? Or a baby, like I need food. I need support. So it's a little bit of a more intense aspect for Venus, and it's a little more warrior-like. So we're going to have a little bit more of the drive to get going and moving forward at this full moon. The other thing that shifts is Jupiter, and Jupiter is in Pisces too for quite some time, and it's going to be in Aries for a while, and it will eventually go back into Pisces, but for a while it's going to be in Aries, and it's going to expand that energy. It's going to be May 10th, right before the full moon, and it's going to say, all right, let's expand it. And at the full moon, it's going to be 0 degrees. Let's expand what I need. Let's expand where I'm going. Let's expand what I am. Moving forward, right? Like I was enjoying, again, Jupiter loves Pisces too. And it's a different kind of energy. And we're going to kind of dry out from the water that we were in. Not totally, because Scorpio is a water sign. So the moon isn't a water sign, but there's a little bit of dryness here, like a little less of the watery, ambivalent, like I just want to float. And it's like, all right, let's take some action at this full moon. And I'm not sure that it's going to work for everyone to take action because of some of the other aspects. We'll talk about that later, because it is an eclipse and there are other things happening. So with that too, so those are planets that have shifted into different signs, right before the full moon. And then also Pluto goes retrograde on April 29th. So that was actually right before the full, or the other eclipse, but you have to think about that. So Pluto, again, has been in Capricorn for a long time, asking us to change our foundation, our rules, our structures. Are they serving us? Are they ours? Are we following someone else's old patterns? Is it working for you? And I think we've been feeling this, and it's been building up pressure, and it's going to take a little while, but it's asking us again, as we go into this full moon, like, let those old things go. Like, those aren't for you and they're not going to work for you. That foundation is not good for you and it cannot serve you going into the future, which is what we're going to being asked to do, right? It's making a, maybe getting rid of some of the old rubble, some of the stale and crumbly bricks that might be creating your foundation. Like, get them out of there because it's not going to help you move forward. It's only going to weaken what you want to do, right? Other people's rules may not be helping you right now, or structures that have been created. The other thing, which I think is important, Mercury is going to go retrograde on May 6th. Now, Mercury goes retrograde 3 times a year. It's not uncommon. It's not, a thing that we're not unfamiliar with. But what I find fascinating is that, it's in Gemini. So we were taking in a lot of information, right, at the solar eclipse. It's going to go back, and it's going to go back to 26 degrees of Taurus at the end of the month on May 29th, and then up until like June 3rd. It's going to be there for a little bit. It's going to station on that degree. What's interesting is that it's going to be going retrograde during this full moon, but it's going to be going back to a degree conjunct where the full moon was at 25 degrees Scorpio. So what I'm seeing here is that at this full moon, we're going to be going, let's reassess the information and how we perceive, and then it's going to go back into Taurus and values and worth, and it's going to get activated. Like, we're going to find something at the end of this month, at the 29th, between the 29th and then June 3rd, that we need to know. It's activating that point, like, oh, there's the information. Now I know. And so we might feel as the full moon, like we're looking for something, and I think we're going to find the information, or how we need to work with our perception, right, at the end of the month. So I think it's very important. And we'll talk a little bit more about that degree because it has some other interesting things to note about that. With that, let's talk about the aspects. So it's a full moon, first and foremost, right? The sun is illuminating the moon fully. And so it's at a culmination point. What is Scorpio like? Time to transform. Time to let go. Maybe time to join in union with something, right? Maybe it's time to join in with others. Now, with an eclipse, I personally would try not to if it's not necessary. I mean, however, everyone's life is different. So if you need to move forward and join into a contract with somebody, don't stop. But definitely look at the details because of the Mercury retrograde. But also, there's an eclipse, like something's hidden and it's going to be seen. So try to take a look at that. And also, a Scorpio moon, like the moon is not its happiest in Scorpio. It's not comfortable there. The moon associated with Cancer wants things to be comfortable and warm and familiar and familial, whereas like Scorpio's like, let's go, let's dig deep. And sometimes digging deep and going into the shadows and the underworld is not comfortable. And the moon's like, ugh, what are you doing to me? I don't want this. This is not what I'm looking for right now. And so we are being asked to go in and go deep, even if it makes us uncomfortable. So it may not feel like the most comfortable full moon. And then the biggest aspect that I'm seeing that could cause some tension is, obviously we have the opposition of the sun and the moon, which is the full moon. We have Saturn and Aquarius squaring both the sun and the moon. So I kind of meditated on this. Like, there's a lot of ways to look at this. And the message that I got is, how do you move forward? Like, I feel like people are ready to move forward in their lives in a lot of ways, away from things that doesn't work for them anymore, or it's just like things that they need to let go of. Like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm torturing myself, right? It's not someone else, or, I'm putting myself in this situation. It's not me anymore. Like, let's get rid of that victim. But like, how are you going to move forward with that, with all this tension here? And what are you bringing in your travel bag was the other question I had. And by that, I mean, we're asking you to move forward, but we're being asked to let go of things both from Scorpio, the moon in Scorpio, and then Saturn Aquarius. Saturn likes to eliminate and cut back, and saying you need what you need, but you might have to cut back on some of your resources. And then Scorpio's like, oh, well, you need to lose what's not working for you anymore, or what's just, it's just dead, right? It's over, right? Sorry. And so I'm not talking about a big luggage. I'm talking about like, the old travel, a little bit of sack on a stick here. Like, you're not taking much, but it needs to be very life sustaining. Like, you have to be very discerning about what you're bringing with you, because it's absolutely crucial. It's like, what are you bringing forward with this? And I think that's kind of the larger energy I'm seeing. Like, we're trying to move forward, but we need to cut everything that does not work in many ways. And so what I have is like, I looked even further into this with some journeying, and I found that we're going to need to release some ancestral baggage. That's Scorpio moon, right? It can deal with ancestry, DNA. So like what beliefs have been passed down in your family lineage or those who've raised you. And maybe even like it's just in your DNA. You don't even know what's in there. We're being asked to let it go if it is not serving us, because we all learn habits and traits to help us get through this world, right? But sometimes they don't serve us. Like maybe it served our ancestor at that time to help them survive, but it is probably not serving you anymore in the modern day. Let me tell you, it is most likely holding you back. And so it's like, is it yours or is it somebody else's? Something that we have to think about, and I think we have to let go of. That's the Scorpio moon. And then I also have cutting out friendships or communities or goals or dreams that don't really serve us or the larger good, right? Is it really, is that friendship really helping you move forward, or are they just, I don't want to say sucking you dry or holding you back, but really, yeah, like, are they holding you back? Like, is it not a positive thing for you to be in? Because, friendships need to be reciprocal, and sometimes they're not. So it's asking you, cut that out. Only what you need in that goal, in that friendship, in your community, and not all the fluff. Like, what is true, Aquarius? What is true? What is going to help you move forward in the greater collective, but also for yourself as well with your goals and dreams. And then, so you're cutting all this back, but like, what's going on? You can't cut everything out. There's the Taurus sun, and it's like, where are you moving towards? What are you moving forward? What are you growing, right? You're going to move forward into this growth. You're going to cut that out so you can grow this new thing, and you can have a new sense of value and worth, and just bringing those gifts into the world. And so even though you're losing things, it's giving you the energy and resources to grow the new thing. And so even though it's a tenuous aspect, I think it can really provide something positive, right? And how I saw it too is connecting to the now, Taurus. Like, what do you want to do and grow now? And then I saw that, releasing of the past, Scorpio, and then what do you want for the future, Aquarius. So just think about those things. You may not have to move forward with it directly around this full moon, but I think it could be really impactful if you work with some of these energies and try to identify even one of those things, right? Like, what do I need to cut out of with my relationships with friends? Or what is maybe weighing me down ancestrally? This is a big theme of this moon, and of what I've been feeling is that I've seen it in the local collective and with myself, is that people are really starting to work with ancestral healing. And I think it's very important that people become aware, because if we can identify and heal these things, we help the generations before and the generations coming forward and paving a new way. And so even though this moon can be hard, it can be really positive in bringing in something new by releasing the old hurts and wounds. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about was a little bit more of a positive aspect, and that is Mars conjunct Neptune. Now, this can be seen as many ways, and it's in Pisces, and it has a lot of aspects. So it's in Pisces. Mars is like, go for that dream, right? Dig deep, envision, go for it, right? Charge. And it's also fostering some of the energies in Aries, right? And so it can be really positive that you're going for that dream. It's like, I see it. I have the vision. I know what it is. And it's also sextiling the sun. So it's like, okay, here are the materials to do this. Trining the moon. Like, all right, this is how I can join with others. And this is also what I can let go of in this. And it's sextiling Pluto as well. So then Pluto is saying, yeah, I've changed the foundation, where I'm letting this go and we're building something new. So I see that this is a very positive thing. On an interesting aspect, though, it could also mean like really rough waters in the sea. Like, there could be some really dynamic things happening out in the seas at this very same time. But again, removing things to grow things, though, but really like being determined at that new dream and that new vision, and just like, and that's the new vision of being one with source and being at peace, right, with everything. So it may not happen overnight, and I understand that, and that's okay, but it's something that is there and present and supporting this full moon. And then the last thing I want to talk about is from Raven Calder's moon phase astrology. He has a name for every moon, and I really like looking at this and just bringing it up. And he calls this moon the Priestess moon. And The Priestess moon is talking about going into the underworld. This Priestess goes in and connects and communes into the underworld. She's also associated with the Priestess in the Tarot deck, who sits between two pillars of dark and light and has the balance of the dark and light. And the challenge for this energy is that not to get stuck between it, though, like not being able to witness the gray that comes in between, like being in between, but only looking to the left or to the right, saying, I only see the underworld or the shadow, or I only see the light and the upper world. It's saying, I see the in-between and the power of both sides and everything that's happening in between. And so, you know, in this full moon, I ask people to, if there's things coming up and you start to see them as only one way or the other, or black and white, go, okay, wait. Is there a story in between? Is there something different that I am not seeing? Because that's where the real information is going to be at, I believe. And being able to go, okay, I acknowledge this, and I can now use my power and my grace as the Priestess to work with this. And it's a great time to really connect to spirituality, whatever that is for you. It's different for everyone. And just feeling connected to source, whether it's energetic and cosmic, spiritual, angelic, also very earthy and natural. Try to find something that helps ground and connect you in a very positive way to source at this time, because I think information is going to be coming in. Like I said, I think this is going to be a very dynamic full moon, full of ancestry and illumination and releasing, and I think good things are coming ahead, but we're being asked right now to do the work. Like I said, as I see outside, the trees have not fully budded. The flowers are holding back, the spring flowers, and it's May, and this is very late from where I live. Things are still kind of holding back. We're not quite out of the underworld, and we're being asked to like do a little bit more of a deep dive before things move forward. With that, I'm Jennifer at Eureka Astrology. If you like what I'm doing, hit like, subscribe, check out my website, EurekaAstrologyandHealing.com, for my services, which is astrology readings, healing consultations, which includes herbs, and tarot readings. With that, may the stars guide you and the plants ground you. Ciao for now.